Hey guys, welcome back to Breakthrough Kitchen. Today I'm going to show you how me and my boyfriend made this oxtail recipe. My boyfriend helped me with this. He got some tips from his family. He's Caribbean. So let's do this. So I'm using a bunch of oxtail. It looks like a lot here, but for some reason, once I cook it, you're going to see it looks like barely anything. My boyfriend was even like, this is embarrassing. We need to have more meat for the recipe. But you guys get it. It was just for the two of us, and I think there was even left over, so this is more than enough. So right now what I'm doing is cleaning the chicken. I put some white distilled vinegar and some cold water, and I'm just gonna mix it up and let this sit for a little bit. You're gonna see the water gets really gross, so I definitely recommend doing this. So now I am going to be seasoning it, and actually my boyfriend did this step because this is the part that matters the most, is where the flavor's at. So he started off with pickle pepper sauce, and now he's going in with jerk seasoning. The pickle pepper sauce you can find at the Caribbean store. I like using that on chicken too. I think that sauce is so good. Now he's going in with steak sauce, and when I was editing this video I was like, steak sauce, I would have never thought that steak sauce goes into this recipe, but he knows what he's doing, and this came out being delicious, so definitely trust us. Now I'm going in with adobo or just any all-purpose seasoning that you have. Adobo is just my favorite. I use that on pretty much everything. Now this is pretty much like an accent. Accent, if you don't know what that is like a flavor booster instead of salt. But this one I got at the Spanish store, so it has more of like a Spanish flavor to it, but nonetheless it's just a flavor booster. So if you have an accent or if you just want to use salt, you could do that. So now he's going in with the onion powder, and last but absolutely not least is the oxtail seasoning. This is another thing that you can find at the Caribbean store, but honestly he uses this on a bunch of other stuff too. It's definitely worth getting, not just for oxtail, and you can see how much we've used even though the bottle is like pretty big. If you don't have oxtail seasoning, you don't have a Caribbean store around you, definitely look up online a good oxtail seasoning blend. I'm sure it's something that you can make at home with a handful of different seasonings. I know my spice cabinet is filled with a bunch of random seasonings. So he's giving it one really, really, really good mix because he's been mixing this for a while. You want to make sure all that flavor is in every little crevice of the oxtail. So once he finds it appropriate to stop mixing, he's going to just put it aside. I think I threw it in the fridge, and right now we did some shots just for the occasion. You see that chili pepper in that bottle? Oh my god, this was the spiciest alcohol I have ever had in my life. We haven't even opened this since that shot we took. It was just like, not like fireball cinnamon spicy, like literal spice. You need water. So anyways, now we're throwing the oxtail meat and the seasoning and everything into our pressure cooker, and we're adding enough water, just enough to cover all of the meat. So we're gonna mix that up really quick, make sure it's all incorporated, and now we're gonna go with our chicken broth. So I personally don't buy chicken broth bottles or anything like that. I don't make it at home. I have made it before, but I really like to buy this stuff. It's pretty much like a chicken broth base. It's like a paste, and you don't need to do anything besides mix it in with water, and it gives the water the flavor that chicken broth would have. And I think it is a lifesaver in the kitchen. Buying those bottles of chicken broth is just not sustainable for me, and I honestly buy one of these little jars of the chicken bouillon, and it lasts me so long, and they have a bunch of different flavors like vegetable, beef, and whatnot. So anyways, I'm covering it up, and we're going to be putting it on 47 minutes to cook, and you can leave it on normal and high pressure, and you want to make sure that it is not venting. You're going to vent it at the end because it's hard to open if you don't vent it, but while it's cooking, make sure it is not venting. So once it's over, we are going to be removing it from the pressure cooker. We're going to put the meat into a pretty large pot. Make sure it's pretty deep because this is where all of our vegetables over there on the side are going to be going into, as well as this broth right here. This is where the finishing of the cooking is going to be happening. So make sure you have a good sized pot. So right here, he's just scooping up every piece of meat. It's a little tedious, but it is worth it because you don't want to just dump this whole thing in there because we're not going to be using all of this liquid. So definitely take the extra step to spoon all of the meat out. On the side over there, I have potatoes, I have bell peppers, onion, and garlic. So the onion I used is just orange and yellow, but any color works. If it was up to me and if I had it available to me, I would have had every color because I love the look of a dish with a lot of different colors in it. I think it just looks so much more delicious in my eyes. I love a colorful dish. But what I had on hand was this orange yellow bell pepper. So once all of the meat is in the pot, we're going to be taking out that big container that's in the pressure cooker with all the liquid. Put that to the side. I'm going to be cooking this on my stovetop burner. So first thing I'm going to do is throw in the onion and the garlic, and then I'm going to throw in the bell pepper. And then I'm just going to throw in the potatoes. So I have this going on medium heat for now. We're not gonna do anything at this point besides just add the liquid. Once we have all the liquid in there, we're gonna mix it and add a few more things, and then that is the extent of this recipe. A lot of this is just waiting. Like in the pressure cooker, you're just waiting for the pressure cooker to be done. On this step, you're just waiting for all of that sauce to evaporate and flavor up everything that we have in the pot. So now that everything's in the pot, we're going to be adding some browning sauce. This is the one that I found at the Caribbean store, but if you have a favorite one, you definitely use that one. If you guys have a really good one, definitely link it down below because this one was good, but I feel like there's a better one out there. So anyways, this is the browning sauce. It's going to add some color and flavor to our oxtail. Give that a good mix. Make sure it's all incorporated in there. And then we're going to go in with the Holy Grail herb. You can't cook pretty much anything Caribbean without this herb. Not this one. Right now he's adding some more oxtail seasoning. The herb that I'm talking about is thyme. And I really, really wish that I had like a little thyme plant, but I don't. And now he's adding some of that flavor enhancer as well to the broth. Make sure that's all flavored up. So this is Guyana thyme that we also found at the Caribbean store. It's very coarse, but if I had the fresh thyme, I would have thrown that in there, like a good couple sprigs, but we don't have that. We have this big bag of thyme that we got to use up anyways, so I definitely want to get that planted now that it's getting warmer out, but for now, the dried seasonings and herbs will do. So put in a good amount of thyme in there because that's going to give it so much flavor. Give it one last good mix and throw the lid on there and walk away for a little bit. Come back in a little while, and once it's boiling, give it another mix. Make sure nothing is sticking. Make sure everything is getting nicely incorporated and whatnot. Give it a mix, and then we're going to cover it up and cook it some more until that water is all evaporated and it looks something like this. Now, you want to have it a little saucy. You don't want it to evaporate all the way because that sauce in that oxtail with the rice is so good. You don't want to waste that and get it a little too caramelized. So at this point, I'm checking the meat, making sure it's nice and tender. You also want to make sure that you're mixing it kind of carefully because the meat gets so tender that it just breaks off the bone with just one little mix. So that is my oxtail recipe. Thank you guys so much for watching. See you guys next time. Make sure if you like this video to like, subscribe, and comment below what you want to see next. Alright, bye!